Hello friends, welcome. So today we'll discuss details of abstract class and an interface. So in most of the interview we have faced this question. It doesn't matter whether you have experience or not. In every interview you come to know the questions like what is an abstract class, what is an interface, so what is the difference between abstract class and an interface? That type of questions. Most of the time they will rearrange the word. For example, they will ask you if you have abstract class with all its abstract method, then why should you go for an interface? So in today's lecture, we'll discuss one by one. So the question is what is abstract class? So before moving, let's differentiate what is simple class, what is abstract class. So I took example of student class. So student class is a plain class where we have some data member as well as some member functions. And in student class, you can see over there we have one roll number as an integer and student name as a string, and in which we have fully implemented functions like get student details as well as get total marks. But when we observe abstract class example, okay, so going line by line, actually uh, it is a class, but we put abstract keyword before the class, means we are going to create abstract class right now. So example, abstract class department, where we have one member functions like we can say that non abstract method. Why? Because it don't have abstract keyword in method and it has fully implemented, means we can say that full body, we can say that implemented over there. And second function says that public abstract void calculate budget. It's a abstract, means we are not going to implement its body in department class itself. Actually it's a abstract class, so anyone can inherit definitely their responsibility to implement that calculate budget. So let's check another example. Let's discuss another example. Here we have one abstract class like employee, and it has like one constructor, one non-abstract method, one abstract method, and one is a virtual method. Actually we'll discuss line by line. So any class, as we know, it has constructor. Again, if we say that it's an abstract class, definitely it should have at least one abstract method. So in this example we took like public abstract bool make transactions. This is our abstract method, and we have one get details as a private method which is restricted to that employee class only. Again we have another virtual method like public virtual void generate payment receipt. Actually by using this method we have default implementations, so that we can say that those any child class which inherit the employee abstract class, definitely if they don't have any implementation they can use their default implementations. So basic rule of abstract class is we cannot create an instance or we cannot create an object of abstract class. So here we tried like we have an employee abstract class and we are trying to create object of that class. So employee emp is equal to new employee. Instantly it shows error like we cannot create an instance of the abstract class. Definitely. So after that, anybody definitely there is a question in mind. Then why should we use abstract class, abstract members, and its data function. So how you can going to use in our program? Definitely. So we can use it by using inheriting it to the child class. So here we took one payment manager as a our child class, and we are inheriting employee abstract class into that child class. So as you know, the rule says that when your payment manager object get created, or we get any reference to that, so definitely it will get active, and after that we can call it. So in this example we are calling like employee emp is equal to new payment manager, means we can assign the reference of concrete class to that abstract class. After that we can call it. So next rule of abstract class says that when we inherit abstract class in child class, then child has its responsibility to implement the abstract methods, else it will give you an error. Like in our current example, so we have an abstract class as an employee, and we have child class as a payment manager, and we are going to inherit abstract class employee in payment manager. But right now we are not implementing any method. At that time instantly it shows that payment manager does not implement inherited abstract member like make transactions. So that is the thumb rule. So during the interview, definitely whenever you describe each and every concept of about the abstract class, so then interviewer asks, does abstract class contain constructor or it has constructor? Definitely it has. Again, he will cross question you to you like if abstract class can't instantiate it or we cannot create an object of that abstract class, then why constructor provided? Is there any specific need? Definitely. Actually, as we mentioned, abstract class can be inherited. And as we know, the rule of inheritance, child class can access to its all public members. So constructors also get called by the child class. Let's discuss the full implementations of abstract class. We'll take full example so that our idea get cleared. So how it will work. So initially we take like employee as a abstract class where we have within that class like constructor, non-abstract method, abstract method, virtual method. So how we can a- access or how we can operate it. So after that we have another one class like payment manager and consider it as a child class. So a child class can inherit its parent like we here we are inheriting that abstract class as a employee. Now consider here we are overriding one function like make transaction. Why? Because look at employee abstract class where we have one uh, ma- abstract function that is make transaction. It's mandatory to you to use its an implementations, so that's we override it. And now again uh, payment manager is also a class, so we can write its own member function also. So pay mode is also one member function. Okay, so now we have to how to call from the main function. So now we have a class like program, and from here we started our execution. So in first line it says that we are trying to check the demo of abstract class. The second one, I created object of that payment manager, that is our child class. So payment manager, and I like created object emp is equal to new payment manager. So you can access now emp dot make transactions. So make transactions which is fully implemented by payment manager. So it shows message payment manager class. But before that, whenever you create object, then it's responsibility of child class to execute constructor of your parent class. So parent class is employee. So first line definitely after the demo of abstract class it will print constructor, and after that it will print like payment manager class, that is make transactions and implementing its method. Again, we call generate payment receipt, it's our virtual method, and it has a default implementations, we are not implemented in payment manager, so it has its own implementations in abstract class. So that is the beauty of abstract class, we have default implementations, and after that we can call its own method like payment managers. So pay mode, it is also get called and it shows pay mode method called. So finally the output is what you have discussed right now. So finally we need to remember some points regarding abstract class, like, so now the question is when we need to use that abstract class. Definitely if various client like classes has implementations are of the same kind and use common behavior, then abstract class is better to use. If we add new functionality or new method in an abstract class which has already used by many classes, then we have an option of providing default implementations. In previous example we have seen that, therefore might be existing code will work properly. Yeah, and second one is abstract class has access modifier. If by mistake someone replaced public to private, then inherited child can't access it. This is the biggest issue while we inherit that abstract class to more child classes. Let's focus on the interface. So what is interface? Why should you go for the interface? What interface has? How it works? Let's discuss. So as you know that in OOPS the concept says that you cannot take the advantages of classes for multiple inheritance. Means in OOPS or in C sharps, whenever you are trying to use multiple classes which are inherited by a child class, that is not possible. Means multiple inheritance is not possible in C sharp by using classes. So to avoid or to achieve multiple inheritance by using interface, definitely you have to use that interface. So interface is nothing but it contains only a declaration part. It does not have any fully implemented body over there. Means we can say that it's a pure abstract class, means which don't have any implementation within its declaration. Look at the example. Now we have one child class and we are going to achieve multiple inheritance. So we are implementing two interface like interface 1 and interface 2. In example, how we can create interface. So put interface as a keyword and put valid name like I put here like I employee, in which we have two method, that is void add employee and another one is string employee name. Now here we don't see any fully implementations of that method. Actually it's a pure abstract class. We can say that we don't have any method implementations in the interfaces. Again, we don't have any access modifier over there like private, public. By default it's a public. Some point we need to know about the interface, like an interface has only signature method not providing any code. As you mentioned in previous example, we don't have any implementations in the interfaces. A class can inherit several interfaces. So to achieve multiple inheritance, we discussed like use of multiple interfaces. An interface cannot have any access modifier, by default it's public. Already we discussed. Actually interfaces are used to define the basic ability of a class. What are the that basic ability, how we can define? So for example in MS Office we have MS Word, MS Excel, MS PowerPoint, MS Access, but notice that all applications has some basic ability like create new file, open existing file, print current file, copy the file, then paste it. So that type of we have common functionality. So we most of the time there is a need, we have common functionality, and no one want to give his separate name. For example, create new word, create uh, new excel, that type of. So we are having only common functionality, so we just use as a new. So all its child class has to implement its as a new only. Then if we add a new method to the existing interface which are already inherited by various classes, at that time we need to track down all the implementations of the interface, and then we have to define the implementations for the newly added method. This is the one of the extra work when you are working with the interfaces.